Hi, this is Morley and this is the M-Wire. So approximately 1,000 Palestinian employees at Apple have a list of demands that must be met. When was the last time it ever boded well for anyone to demand anything of their employer? I mean, if you walked into your boss's office and demanded a 50% pay increase, how well do you think that would go for you? Let me know. Earlier this week, more than 1,000 employees of Apple signed into a letter drafted by the Apple Muslim Association calling on CEO Tim Cook to make public the tech giant's belief that Palestinian lives matter. Does that sound at all familiar, folks? It probably should. You would think that between Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and AOC, that on their social media, they have at least 1,000 followers that work for Apple. Would you not? The AMA's letter, first made public by The Verge, says employees feel sadness, anger, frustration, and disappointment due to the struggle and pain of the Palestinian people and their decades-long existence under military occupation. So they said the magic word right there from the left, feel. This is how they feel. So they are basically asking Apple to put their entire brand on the line based on how they feel. Remember that F word, folks. We're going to come back to that in just a moment. Many of those in positions of power and influence who boldly stand for human rights and so many other just causes either choose to remain silent or release ineffectually neutral both sides statements with regards to the Palestinian situation. The letter continues. Yes, precisely. They should stay neutral. The more businesses stay out of politics, the better they are. Look at what happened to professional sports. Look what's happened to other businesses that have gone woke, because that's essentially what this is leading to. They want Apple to go full on woke, and it just leads to financial loss. So they're basically expecting Apple to put their brand on the line, as I said, for their political cause. To give you a perspective of this is very important. The 1,000 people represents approximately 147,000 people that work there. That's how many that work there in 2020, so that's what I'm going off of. So 1 in every 147 employees is asking for this. Now, if we were to scale this down to a small company of 147 employees, and let's say there was one employee that was barking demands at his employer, even if he had worked there for 20 years, I don't think it would go over well with his employer. So when we scale this back up, not only is this going to affect Apple's business, this is going to affect their work culture, because most of the people obviously have an opinion if they go through with their demands. In a jumble of intersectional blather, the AMA letter acknowledges Apple employees' privilege to grow up in free societies where the rights of movement, safety, education, and opportunity are commonplace. Before outlining how the Apple Muslim Association has expressed our solidarity with our Black and Brown communities in their fight for justice and equality, support our Asian communities in the face of anti-Asian hate and attacks, and supported teammates from multiple nations as they dealt with the anxiety of the travel ban. So they're just continuously harping on the victim mentality. Oh, woe is me. Oh, poor is me. Oh, oppressed is me. Following the AMA's humble brag about how they stood in solidarity with other intersectional identities, they declare staying silent on the plight of Palestinian people is no longer something we can do. Well, it's something you should do in the workplace because it has absolutely nothing with what you feel, okay? There's nothing correlated to it. We believe Apple's public commitment to respecting internationally recognized human rights also must be extended explicitly and clearly to the Palestinian people. They also note before listing their demands. Are you ready to hear their demands, folks? It's going to sound very familiar. Here it goes. That Apple makes clear internally and externally that we believe that Palestinian lives matter. Yep, you gotta go woke. That Apple makes clear that as determined by the United Nations, millions of Palestinian people currently suffer an illegal occupation, and that is the fact that reasserted through numerous international resolutions and supported by hundreds of nations. That Apple makes clear that the above statement do not in any way take away from the human rights of our Jewish brothers and sisters worldwide. Well, gee, that's certainly nice of you to say. That Apple does not make any statement referring to the Palestinian situation as a conflict, clash, or similar, or those words imply a power symmetry that simply does not exist. So they're not only demanding what Apple say, but they're also demanding how they say it. Like, I don't know who these people are, but whoever they think they are, they're not. How can you just demand this of your employer like that? It's incredulous to me. That Apple does not make any statement referring to both sides or similar, as doing so would feel to us as an equivalent of all lives matter. A minimization of the disproportionately larger pain and suffering of the Palestinian people. Once again, victim mentality, and there they go referring, well, I mean, there is two sides. There's two sides to everything. They just want you to ignore the other side and take their side. That's all they're bucking for here. That Apple commit to spending equitable time and effort to learn about and engage with the Palestinian community as what we do for the many other diverse communities which make up our company. So that is their list of demands. If I were Tim Cook, I would do absolutely and positively nothing. I would not take a side in this. And if these 1,000 employees keep chirping about this, I would just show them the door. Thank you for tuning into my video. Please remember to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe. Thank you, and God bless.